On August 8, 2023, a significant fire broke out near the town of Lahaina on the island of Maui in Hawaii. Within hours, thousands of homes were burned to the ground, hundreds were killed, and over 1,000 residents are still missing. It was the deadliest wildfire in United States history. And when resident Joe Biden was asked about the federal response during a leisurely weekend in Rehoboth Beach, he didn't have a care in the world. No, you're riding a bicycle, dumbass. Look, I know that this probably came across as insensitive, but you have to understand that Joe Biden doesn't work on the weekends. He's supposed to be the president of the United States. You can't expect him to work 7 days a week. Come on, man. But in reality, when you consider how catastrophic the fire was, Biden's no-comment response showed a complete lack of caring or urgency. Here's Press Secretary and historical figure Karine Jean-Pierre.
The president continues to stay closely engaged with his team and state and local officials to ensure our robust whole of government response continues.
Yeah, closely engaged with the beach, maybe.
Yesterday, he received 2 briefings from FEMA Administrator Criswell on the ongoing federal response, a written update in the morning, and a phone call last night.
So he read an email and took a 3-minute phone call. Wow, what a hero.
The president has stayed engaged with Hawaii Governor Josh Green, and they've spoken twice in recent days to make sure he gets every resource he needs.
Yeah, no one cares. It doesn't matter what Joe Biden was doing behind the scenes, because what we, the public, saw with our own eyes was an old man enjoying a leisurely weekend at his beach home while cadaver dogs were searching for the remains of incinerated Hawaiians. This is what is known as poor optics. So after 10 days of criticism from the public, Joe Biden jumped on Air Force One and flew to Maui. I'm just kidding. Biden flew to Lake Tahoe to begin a weeks-long vacation while staying at a billionaire's $18 million mansion. Suck it, Maui. A few days later, Joe Biden finally took a break from his vacation and flew to Maui, where he awkwardly viewed damage from the fire. What happened to the car? And when it came time to giving his remarks, he immediately f***ed them up.
Well, hello, people of Maui.
I know that in the cosmic scheme of things that this was minor, but in Hawaii, it is customary to say aloha instead of hello. It would have been a meaningful gesture.
I want you to know, on behalf of the United States of America, all the nation, the American people stand with you.
On behalf of the United States of America, now I have to question whether or not Joe Biden knows that Hawaii is a state. Now, if you've been following the news coverage, local and state officials have come under fire for their actions, or lack thereof, including delaying a request to release water to fight the fire.
The water shut off. Even the firemen that were patrolling couldn't refill their trucks.
And then there's Maui County Mayor Richard Bisson and Maui Emergency Management Agency Administrator Herman Andea.
Do you regret not sounding the sirens?
I do not. And the reason why, and
so many people said they could have been saved if they had time to escape. Had a siren gone off, they would have known that there was a crisis emerging.
Do you want him to give you the answer, or do you want to get? Well, then let him finish. Let him finish his answer.
Sorry, there's a lot of people.
Well, you're talking and you're not letting him talk.
I'm ready for the answer.
Then wait.
The next day, Herman Andea resigned. Good riddance. But instead of being angry at their incompetence, which literally added fuel to the fire, and instead of calling for a federal investigation, Joe Biden praises everyone for a job grandly done.
Governor Josh Green, you've been incredible from the day we've spoken on this. You've been way ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve. First of all, Josh Green wasn't even in Hawaii when the disaster happened. And when he was asked what the cause of the fire was, he shifted the blame so that it would fit a certain narrative.
There are studies showing that exactly this type of fire could have happened in Lahaina, caused by a hurricane. What has been done to prepare for and prevent a fire like this from occurring?
This is the first time we've ever experienced a wildfire in the context of these dry conditions, global warming, and with a hurricane that's just passing us. There's no question this catastrophe is going to change the way everyone looks at fire.
Oh, I see. It's the new normal. Don't blame it on the utility company who didn't properly maintain the power grid. Nope, it was all Mother Nature's fault. So despite the massive failures regarding the response, Joe Biden continued to pat everyone on the back, while at the same time getting all their names wrong.
Brian Shantz, our senator, FEMA's administrator, Griswold, and Mayor Rick Bassin. Rick, when we talked on the phone, you look like you played in defensive tackle for, I don't know who, but somebody good. I want to thank you for your leadership and during this unimaginable tragedy.
Oh sure, Mayor Bissen's leadership has been legendary.
You have no estimate as to how many children are missing?
I guess
Nothing?
we can end this right now if you guys want.
You're a disaster.
All right, okay. Please.
You've been the worst mayor we could possibly imagine.
You won't even wait.
Respect what? This is the most dismal response we've ever had.
You won't wait for your turn.
Mayor Bissen's response during and after the wildfires has been so poor that I wouldn't be surprised if he's also forced to resign. Although, I'm sure that his defense will be, Joe Biden said I was great.
Senator Maisie, by the way, Maisie, I told my granddaughter, whose name is Maisie as well, she said, that's why I like her. Anyway, but her name is Maisie as well. The devastation is overwhelming. To date, 114 dead, hundreds of people unaccounted for. I remember when I got the call, my first wife and daughter.
Oh no.
You got to come home. There's been an accident. I said, what happened? He said, your wife, she's dead. Come home, come home. The tractor trailer had broadsided her and killed her in a car accident along with my little daughter.
And the sad thing is, I knew he was going to go there. If you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter, and why wouldn't you would have seen that I posted this set of predictions. Not only did I predict he was going to talk about a death in the family, but I also knew he was going to mispronounce at least one local politician's name, specifically mispronounce Deanne Criswell's name, and he was going to wear those stupid aviator sunglasses the entire time.
So I know the feeling that as many of the people in this town, this community, that hollow feeling you have in your chest like you're being sucked into a black hole.
I saw that one coming a mile away. So a couple hours later, Biden made a second appearance, this time at a civic center, where at times he looked utterly dazed and confused. And look at his labored breathing. It looks like he's asleep. Oh, but the mainstream media will insist that he's totally vibrant and healthy. Nothing to see here, America. Anyway, when it was time for him to give his remarks, it was the same old, same old.
Jill and I are here to grieve with you, but also we want you to know the entire country is here for you. That's not hyperbole. We mean that. The entire country is here for you.
A speech where Joe Biden doesn't mess it up in some way does not exist.
I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home.
Oh no!
15 years ago, I was in Washington doing Meet the Press. It was a sunny Sunday, and lightning struck at home.
That's right, Biden is referring to the small kitchen fire that he had in 2004, and is claiming that he knows what it's like to lose a home.
To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat. But all kidding aside,
thousands of residential buildings were destroyed in the Maui wildfires. And Joe Biden knows how you feel because he had a small kitchen fire and was afraid for the safety of his car. Oh, and here's $700. Go buy something nice. That'll cheer you up. Anyway, I'd like to point out that I had posted a second set of predictions, which included the house fire story.
I watched the firefighters, the way they responded. You know, there's an old expression, God made man, then he made a few firefighters. You're all crazy, thank God. The only people who run into flames to help other people. The smoke, and the firefighters here can tell you, sometimes smoke is so thick from the windows out, it was that thick inside the home.
Except Biden said he was in Washington, D.C. at the time of the fire, which is at least 2 hours away from his home in Wilmington, Delaware. So, A, he's lying about having watched the firefighters.
I watched the firefighters.
And B, he's lying about seeing the thick smoke. It was that thick because the fire was put out before he got home.
And we were insured. We did not have any problem.
Oh, thank God that everything worked out for you, Joe Biden.
But being out of our home for a better part of a year was difficult. I can only imagine.
When Biden says that he was out of his home for the better part of a year, it was probably more like a week while the fire damage was cleaned up. I mean, it's not like he hasn't exaggerated about a house fire in the past.
And I haven't had a house burned down with my wife in it. She got out safely, God willing.
Again, for the record, Biden didn't lose a house, nor did his house burn down. And in response to Biden's repeated lies, the local fire department, the Cranston Heights Fire Company, released the following statement. For the fire service, this could be considered an insignificant fire. However, in the case for any homeowner, it was obviously significant at the time and was quickly responded to by the local firefighters.
I give you my word as a Biden. As long as I am president, your governor's governor, and this group of you, your elected officials are there, we're not going to stop. We're not going to build back for you. We're going to build back better.
Oh, look, another one. In fact, out of all of my predictions, I got 9 out of 15 right. So I'm either that good or Biden's just that predictable.
Many of you have lost family. Not even sure where some are. I've had a similar experience.
Oh no!
Tractor trailer had broadsided my wife Christmas shopping with my 3 children. She was killed. My baby was killed.
Folks, I know many of you have lost everything, but let me tell you about a tragedy. It took place 50 years ago, and how I almost lost my '67 Corvette. So obviously, there are Hawaiians that are angry with the federal response, and the fact that it took Joe Biden 2 weeks to get around to visiting Maui.
Some signs greeting the president were honest and tough. Quote, "You're late."
A little too late. It's been 2 weeks since we've seen him. He's missed his window of opportunity.
Not to mention this viral video of locals greeting Joe Biden's motorcade.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. Thanks for nothing. You.
But according to Morning Joe Scarborough, it was all fake news.
I know this is going to shock you. It was all garbage. You look at the local newspapers, you look at the local reports, you listen to the local people. These weren't Democratic operatives. It was the Maui newspaper. Everybody in these newspapers glowing the coverage.
Oh, I see. Local reports from the local newspapers said Joe Biden's trip was a success. Except that's not true. The local story of Joe Biden visiting Maui in these 3 newspapers is the exact same article written by Sungmin Kim, who is a White House correspondent for the Associated Press. And I should point out that Sungmin Kim is based in Arlington, Virginia, which means that she's not a local Maui reporter writing for a local Maui newspaper. None of these papers are actually based in Maui, by the way.
The people of Maui, and again, read the local coverage. Don't listen to the lies on Trumpy outlets. Read the local coverage. All incredibly positive.
You have protesters and people on the ground. Let's keep this in mind. This is a Democratic state that voted 2-1 for President Biden. These aren't just, like Republican trolls.
What we are hearing from the ground, from the people who are there living this nightmare, is that the response and recovery effort and the relief effort has been woefully inadequate.
President Biden, offering these people some $700 one-time payment, which I'll never get over, on the exact same day requesting $25 billion in extra assistance of military assistance assistance to the country of Ukraine, including humanitarian assistance, probably even more so than what's been requested for Hawaii so far. It's just outright outrageous.
So while Sagar and Crystal from Breaking Points provide an objective view of things, Morning Joe Scarborough is basically dismissing the feelings and opinions of local Hawaiians in an attempt to protect Joe Biden.
It was all garbage.
Anyway, that's it for now. Follow me on X at Don't Walk Run. Be sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. And as always, thanks for tuning in. And I hope to see you next time, if there is next time.